It's October and this is the Library Roadshow. On the show today, makers, museums, music, and more. Welcome to the October edition of the Library Roadshow. I'm Mary Stein, and this is a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. I am happy to report that the library has entered step 2.1 of its reopening plan. What does that mean for library patrons? Masks are still required at all libraries. We'll still bring your books to you at the door or curb or window if you wish, and we're still quarantining books, but with Phase 2, you can add limited in-house and outdoor programming with restrictions on audience capacity to the mix, and even limited use of public meeting rooms. And most importantly, we are opening up the book stacks for browsing. Not being able to look for books and movies themselves has been a major pain point for our patrons, and we're delighted to make this change. Library staff will, of course, be still happy to retrieve your items, but you can now wander through the book stacks and make your own selections. We encourage you to take full advantage of the hand sanitizer stations we've scattered around the library, and if you want to use it on your way into the stacks as well as when you finish browsing, that is perfectly fine. We're also asking you to be mindful of others as you browse the stacks and practice social distancing in the aisles. I mentioned that we're slowly resuming library programming. I'm happy to report that the virtual Mid-City Microcon was a great success. We'll talk about the virtual Maker Faire in a bit, but we've also planned a great evening at home with Chef Jay Ducote on October 21st to help celebrate the launch of his new cookbook, Jay Ducote's Louisiana Outdoor Cooking. We've included the details as well as the night's recipe for pork and Brussels sprouts cast iron bake, so you can stir the pot along with Jay. Our September Garden Discoveries program on butterfly gardens was live as well as on Facebook Live. It went well too. You can still see the archive of this program, and in October we'll feature container gardening in the landscape. We're bringing content to you in multiple formats. The Career Center is dropping more videos on their new YouTube channel. We're hosting a virtual webinar on business pitches, marketing plans, and product development on October 14th, and we'll offer an in-person presentation for the Citizen Data Academy on October 13th. And for the kiddos, Saturday shenanigans continue with grab-and-go activity bags each week. In addition to our virtual story times, check out the fall programs in the library's Beanstack app, located at https://ebrpl.beanstack.org. The October newsletter also includes details on great programs and exhibitions from LSU Museum of Art and Louisiana Arts and Science Museum, as well as Boktoberfest with the Baton Rouge Symphony Orchestra. And a reminder that you can always find great concerts in the digital library in Quello and Friegel.
Free access to books, audio, and library resources are just a few of the benefits available to you when you get a library card. Need free access to a computer? You get that. Want free access to premium digital resources like Mango Languages and lynda.com? You get that. Need to book a meeting space? You get that. Heck, you can even check out a telescope or use a digital printer with your library card. If you live in East Baton Rouge Parish, pick up your free library card from your local branch library today. Premium access to everything the library system has to offer is waiting for you.
For every kind of service or resource that the library offers in the real world, we also try to offer something to parallel it in the digital library. Being able to download and read ebooks and e-audiobooks is one of the mainstays of the digital library, and it just got easier. Adam St. Pierre joins me now to explain in the Digital Download.
Do you love reading ebooks from your library? Are you a digital audiobook fanatic that listens in your car while working out, cooking, or basically any moment? Well, the library has some news for you. RB Digital eBooks and digital audiobooks are all moving from RB Digital over to our Overdrive collection, so you can access them all via the Libby app. So what does that mean to you? Besides thousands of additional books and digital audiobooks available to you within the Libby app, well, you've got less places to go for your ebook and digital audiobook needs. Adam, what will happen to my magazines and access to IndieFlix? Not a thing. You'll still have access to your magazines and IndieFlix from the RB Digital platform, and both are still available at that low price of free with that magical library card of yours.
Thanks, Adam. Having RB Digital audiobooks all gathered into the Overdrive platform makes one-stop shopping just so easy. And we know that our patrons agree, since we first launched a collection of downloadable ebooks at the library back in 2005, our patrons have downloaded more than 4.6 million ebooks. And we're on target to circulate more than 1 million ebooks and audiobooks this year alone. Call up that Libby app today and help push us over the top. Let's shift gears now and check in with Kayla Perkins, reporting in from Beyond the Stacks.
Your library loves to bring you good books and great authors. We're at the main library at Goodwood for the 43rd Annual Author Illustrator Program, featuring children's book author Candace Fleming. Let's check it out.
Gosh, I'm really excited to be here. I mean, really excited to be here. It's cold in Chicago. I guess we got our first frost. So, yeah, I'm really excited to be here.
I'm talking about my choices as a writer, both writing nonfiction and fiction, ways that I choose to write. And in a little bit, we're going to talk about ways that they can take those same skills back to their classrooms and libraries and share those with their young readers and writers.
But if you open it up, you can find stories that I wrote that have for me just because when I was in 5th grade. This one is most important, I think, in my notebook. It's because I had a teacher in 5th grade. Her name is Mrs. Van Bellen, and she was an amazing teacher. Another person that reminded me that reinforced the idea that I was a writer.
So why do you think programs like the Author Illustrator Program are important at libraries?
I think they're unbelievably important. One, you get to actually see the person that's creating those books. You actually get to see, at least I'm going to show, all the work that goes in behind it. So instead of just seeing a finished book that you get on a bookshelf, I'm going to show those stages, so that initial idea through the things that you do, the steps that you take to create that book. Choices, I talked about that before. The ways that you choose as a writer, which direction do you choose to go? And then, of course, we're going to talk about revision. So I brought a whole bunch of drafts with me as well. So we're going to talk about that process, that sort of hidden process beneath the book. All of that, I think, allows teachers and librarians, again, to take all that back to the classroom and say, you know, this little book that I'm reading to you that Candace Fleming wrote about rabbits, let me tell you how much work actually went into that book.
What is your favorite book that you've written, and do you have any favorite characters?
That is such a good question. And I have a really bad answer for that really great question about what my favorite book is. What have I got? 40, I should know now, 44 maybe? Every single one of those books are books that somehow, in some way, are connected to me. Either it was something I saw that I wrote about, or what I was curious about and decided I want to share with readers. So there's a personal element to all of those books. So it's like sort of, I love them, I write them, I send them off to the library to live by themselves. It's like raising children, right? Then you say, well, which is your favorite book? And I think, oh no, I can't choose between the babies. It's like asking me which of my sons I like better, Scott or Michael. So I always say my favorite book is the one I'm working on right now. And that's true because that's the one that gets my time, my attention. I worry about, I think about in my spare moments. I worked on a little bit at my hotel last night when I got home. And once I send that book off into the world, then it'll be the next book that becomes my favorite.
That program gets better and better every year. To find out what's coming up next, pick up a copy of our monthly newsletter, The Source, or visit us online at www.ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Kayla. If you miss Candace Fleming, don't forget, we've got lots of her books to share. Everything from Gator Gumbo to Strongheart, Wonder Dog of the Silver Screen. Stay right there. After the break, Adam St. Pierre joins me for a chat right here on the Library Roadshow.
I'm Zoe Kravitz from Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Books are magical, and reading can transform your life. Libraries make sure people of all backgrounds can experience the wonder of literature through literacy programs and access to media. Spread the magic by supporting your library.
You're watching the October edition of the Library Roadshow. Everything you need to know about your local library system. Adam St. Pierre and a bunch of other makers have reimagined and reinvented the Mid-City Microcon to be a completely virtual event in August, and it worked out beautifully. They've moved on to the Maker Faire and have spent the last few months brainstorming on how to bring such a hands-on event to fruition in a no-touch world. Okay, Adam, what is planned for our 7th annual Maker Faire?
Well, it is the 7th annual Baton Rouge Mini Maker Faire, and it's the first time we're going virtual, which we have a ton of great content lined up for everyone. Lots of pre-recorded content from Cléaché and Ziggy and the Junkyard Band.
Love them.
Baton Rouge Green, Novak, and the film festival we produced with them earlier this year.
With the teens,
With
right?
the teens. We also have good stuff from our friends at the Mid-City Makers Market. And did I mention Baton Rouge Green? They
Yes.
deserve both 2 mentions.
Yes, they do. They're one of our favorite partners. And there's a lot of ways we partner with them throughout the year. So this is a fun way for people to understand that making doesn't have to just be jets and drones. It can be everything.
Right, high tech and low tech. So, fabric arts, beading, painting, robotics, laser cutting, whatever, all in the same place virtually. So we're also going to have a good amount of panels that will be live streamed. So we've have a lot of great people in Baton Rouge area that made personal protective equipment, or PPE.
That's bringing it close to home, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
We made some of that here at the library.
We did.
Yeah.
Quite a few pieces.
You had the 3D printers going day and night.
I did.
Yes. Okay. So it's virtual. You don't actually come to the main library this year, but where do you go?
So we're going to be streaming to YouTube Live and Facebook.
Okay, so everybody can get to YouTube.
Everybody can get to YouTube.
And Facebook, you hardly have to be a joiner of anything to get to this.
Exactly.
So even I could manage that.
Even you could manage that.
Okay.
We're making it easy.
So you don't have to sign up.
Nope.
Is there a Facebook event that you could click on and it would remind you?
There is a Facebook event you can click on. It'll remind you, it'll tell you when we're going live, and you'll be able to watch everything.
I like that feature because even though we're not doing a whole lot, the hours slip away. And so with the Microcon, I accepted the event. I said I was going to the virtual event,
And then it
then
reminded
Facebook,
you so many times. It's great.
Yeah, so let's let technology be our friend.
Right.
Now, one thing that I've really loved is with the Microcon, it was archived.
Right.
And people are still watching it.
It'll be the same thing. You'll be able to go back and watch it later. And we're talking a lot about all the different video that people are going to be seeing. But since it is a hands-on event, we've made it available for people to come and pick up kits.
So how's that going to work?
So we'll have grab-and-go kits at all of our locations, all sorts of different challenges that you'll be able to follow along
So
during
it will
the day.
be interactive.
Right. It's still interactive, but
as much as you want it to be.
Right. Interactive at your house, or and interactive as much as you want.
Right. So you're in the driver's seat when
Correct.
when you're attending
Correct.
the virtual 7th annual Baton Rouge Mini Maker Faire. I can't really even say that too many times, can I?
It's a whole lot of words.
Now, how do people find out more? Of course, it's on the cover of the source.
Right. So if you go to batonrouge.makerfair.com, it'll have all the information you need to join us for the live stream, watch all the panels, and also picking up grab-and-go kits so you can make on your own.
That's going to happen at my house, I can tell you that. And of course, you can always go to the library's website, and there'll be a big ad that you can click through and get to things as well. Thanks, Adam. I want to say the Maker Faire Committee has done an excellent job of reinventing this event, and I'm really looking forward to a successful fair. After the break, the fabulous Matt de la Pena. Plus, we have book reviews from one of our younger library patrons. All that and more coming up next on the Library Roadshow.
So in order to knit fast, you have to keep your stitches up close to the points of the needles. I always wrap my yarn around my little finger and then my index finger.
Welcome back to the October edition of the Library Roadshow. Matthew de la Pena is an American writer of children's books who specializes in novels for young adults. He served as the presenter for our official Author Illustrator series last year at the Main Library. Matt joins me by phone. Matt, how did you get your start as an author?
I did an MFA program for creative writing, and I thought basically I was writing adult fiction. I finished a manuscript that I really loved. It was ultimately called Ball Don't Lie, and it came down between an adult publisher and a young adult press. And of course, as any young starving guy would do, I said, which one's offering the most money? And it turned out it was the YA press, so it was published by Random House as a young adult novel. And that's when I found out about children's literature.
What is Carmela Full of Wishes about?
Carmela Full of Wishes is my latest picture book. It came out late last year, and it's about a little girl who's finally old enough to go with her big brother to do Sunday errands while her mom is working at a hotel. And this is a very simple story on the surface about sibling rivalry, getting on each other's nerves, and kindness. But underneath that, there's a much more pressing matter, which is it's kind of exploring immigration in America today.
What do you enjoy about writing for young readers?
I love writing for young people, mostly because young people are still trying to figure out what they believe, what their ideology is going to be, how they're going to sort of navigate the world. Whereas adult readers sort of have their idea already set about who they are, what their ideas are. A lot of adult readers, they read to reinforce what they already believe. Whereas I feel so lucky to write for young people because they're still building that and they're open to new ideas and they're sort of like working through the possibilities, sometimes through fiction. So I love writing for young people.
Thanks, Matt. Ever since you visited us last year, we felt that you were one of our authors, and we love sharing your books with our families. It's now time to check in with one of our younger readers to find out what she's reading at the library.
Hi, my name is Madison. I am 9, and my favorite book is Tango. Tango is about this beautiful girl. She has long hair, and her mother wanted to cut it off. The king laughed, and they shared a small as Rapunzel fed him from the tree. She had been surprised with her father offered to help her. My grandma and my mom bring me to the library. When I come to the library, my favorite thing is to read books.
Thanks so much, Madison. I love seeing these young readers. And don't forget, you can now come in and browse the stacks to find your next great read. Stay right there. You're watching the Library Roadshow.
As the nation's doctor, I often get asked, what should I do if I think I might have coronavirus?
People who are sick should stay home. You don't go to an emergency room. You don't go to a clinic. You get on the phone and you ask for advice and instructions from your physician.
We don't want you to go into the ER or the doctor's office without talking to them first because you might spread coronavirus to someone else. Please visit coronavirus.gov for more information.
My name is Ann Novak, and I am a certified career coach and resume writer and the head of the Career Center, located inside the main library on Goodwood. The Career Center is a service of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Since working from home is the name of the game at the moment, I want to introduce you to our 4 favorite websites that help you find safe and legitimate work from home or remote opportunities. Number 1, RedRaceRebellion.com. It is one of the oldest websites dedicated to finding safe remote jobs and still one of the best. It gives you a good overview of all different kinds of remote jobs available, from high-level specialist and manager roles to taking surveys, mystery shopping, and everything in between. Number 2, RemotePlanet.io. Remote Planet is an entire community for people who want to lead a location-independent or digital nomad lifestyle, while it features job boards and links to many companies who mainly work remotely. It also contains lots of information on tax issues and other special topics relating to a remote lifestyle. For me, one of its prime assets is that it exposes you to a lot of small, remotely operating companies that might be hard to find otherwise. Number 3 is FlexJobs.com. FlexJobs is probably the most well-known flexible work job board. It has had a lot of national media exposure. 2 words of caution about FlexJobs. It does not only feature remote opportunities, but has a lot of part-time and project-based jobs that are actually tied to a specific location. And it charges you a fee. So before you pay, make sure that they have jobs that are a good fit for you. Check out our FlexJobs video on our YouTube channel to see how you can research their open jobs before you pay. Number 4 is PowerToFly.com. Again, this is much more than just a job board. It is an online community led by women and mainly created for women. PowerToFly.com strongly focuses on diversity and inclusion. Besides featuring jobs and linking to companies' job openings, it also features virtual events such as live chats, webinars about career and job search related topics, panel discussions, and virtual job fairs. If you are a job seeker and you like this information, go and check out CareerCenterBR.com for more free resources and support to help you succeed in your career.
You're watching the October edition of the Library Roadshow, a production of your East Baton Rouge Parish Library System. Did you know that there was so much helpful career information gathered in one place? The Career Center's website is easily clickable from the library's homepage, ebrpl.com, and the Career Center itself is open for business 6 days a week. It's all available at the main library on Goodwood, and it's free with your East Baton Rouge Parish Library card.
As a community, we're not done with COVID-19, but like everyone else, we're trying to adapt here at the library. So we popped into the teen department to chat with Darcy to see how she's connecting with teens and keeping them engaged.
So my name is Darcy Rohr. I am a programming librarian for teens and 20-somethings here at the main library on Goodwood. So it has been extra difficult for our teens in this difficult time already to come into the library and get the things that they need. A lot of the regular resources we have for them, or a lot of the regular activities, the programming, the just kind of hanging out space with their friends, we can't really do for safety reasons. So to adapt with our current times, we have expanded our social media presence really a lot, as much as we can. We've kind of shifted our programming, so either it's live virtual online where we can chat with the teens directly, they can talk to each other, things like book clubs and that. And then we're doing our grab and go programming for as much of our crafts and STEM, anything that you can do with your hands that we can send home to the teens, we absolutely are planning to send home. The grab and go kits are projects that we have either found somewhere or designed ourselves. They are self-contained do-it-yourself things. So a lot of them are crafts because that's an easier thing for us to send home with people, but some of them are STEM related. They are a bag, essentially, with instructions, all the supplies that you'll need to complete that activity. The instructions have a link to a YouTube video that someone in the library system has created that'll walk you through that activity like you were coming to do a program at the library. This is the Teens YouTube page. You can just come here and look for fun projects, and this is also where our book talks are. But when you get a grab and go bag, the instruction sheet will lead you to a link directly to the YouTube video. There's usually a QR code on there if you want to do that too. Librarians usually introduce themselves, tell you where they are, where you can pick up this particular bag, and kind of what project is going on. So this is a paper mache lantern that they're working on at the Jones Creek Library. And they'll demonstrate one that they've already made. And then we'll go through the supplies. So the only things that they don't have in there are like, if you need water for something, if you need scissors, we can't send home scissors very easily. If you need to use like the oven or the microwave or something like that for the older teens. But everything else is in the kit. They also usually have like a calendar of our other events and any other flyers for stuff we want them to know about that are exciting.
If I do want to come into the library, how do I do that? What rules are there that I have to follow if I want to come to the team room?
So we're trying to keep it fairly simple. We'd love to see you in the library. We have quite a few patrons who are coming in and getting a lot of books. So right now we're pulling all the books for you. But you can always, if you want to come in and ask for a particular book, we'll absolutely find it, a book, movie, whatever. If you don't know what you want, come and see us. We are happy to talk to you about that. We love if you give us an idea of what you're interested in, we would love to pull books for you. And then our computers are still open. We have less availability of those just for safety reasons, but they absolutely can still come use computers. The tables for studying, and if you have any tutoring that needs to be done, those spaces are still open. Our smaller spaces like study rooms, those are closed right now for safety. But everything else we have in some way. There's something here for you for sure.
Even though things are very different these days, there's still so much going on at your library. To find out what's coming up next, pick up a copy of our monthly newsletter, The Source, or visit us online at www.ebrpl.com.
Thanks, Kayla. Remember that all virtual programs, as well as all in-house or outdoor programs, are listed in the online calendar of events. For virtual programs, select Virtual as your location. And now for today's contest. Visit the library's Facebook page at facebook.com/ebrpl. We're inviting you to carve out some time for reading as you check out the fall programs and seasonal activities in our Beanstack app. There's something there for any age. That's facebook.com/ebrpl. And while you're there, enjoy. We're not your grandfather's library anymore. What's coming up on the Library Roadshow in November? Attic Treasures.
Tune in next month and I'll take you behind the scenes of the virtual 7th Annual Baton Rouge Mini Maker Fair.
Coming up next month, I'll share another digital resource with you.
Thanks so much for joining us on the Library Roadshow. And remember, your East Baton Rouge Parish Library is open 7 days a week at each and every one of 14 branches, plus 24/7 on the web. Check us out at ebrpl.com.
And that's how we roll.